Good morning, everybody. We have a mixed to higher trade in the grain markets here early on Friday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. December corn futures up 1.25 at 5.11 1/4. November soybeans up 3 cents at 12.73 1/2. December Chicago wheat up a half cent at 6.92 3/4. December Kansas City wheat up 2.25 at 6.85. December spring wheat down 3 3/4 at 8.68 3/4. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook this morning. Guys, if you guys are watching on YouTube or Facebook, why don't you give me a harvest update this morning? Leave me a comment either on YouTube or on Facebook. Let me know if you've gotten into corn or soybean harvest. Let me know how it's going, how far along you are. If you're not quite there yet, let me know what the outlook is. How far out are you? If you have any yield updates, that would be appreciated. So let's get a little bit of a conversation started here today on Friday. Just give me a quick update on what's going on, and we'll see how the comments look following that. Remember, guys, if you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner. For $49 a month, guys, I have a really nice subscription service. I send out a ton of information to my subscribers. I have a morning email that goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time, and in that email, you will be made aware of every overnight headline that's relevant, all sorts of different charts, graphics, updated daily grain market charts, all of my grain marketing recommendations, everything from cash sales to capture and carry. If there's ever anything with options that I think is interesting or of note, I'll include that. These subscriber-only videos come out every single business day. Certainly check this deal out, guys. It's an information-only service. I won't try to sell you anything else. You can cancel it at absolutely any time. There's no long-term commitment, so certainly give this deal a shot. We have a USDA report today. This is the monthly crop production and WASDE report. It will be out at 11 a.m. Central Time, as it always is. The general idea going into this thing is that the corn and soybean numbers are going to be kind of bearish versus the last couple of months. You know, we're looking for larger corn and soybean yield potentially versus last month, and also larger corn and soybean acreage versus last month. So you may very well see an increase on the production side in terms of what's expected. There are also some demand issues here. I talked earlier this week about the old crop demand issues regarding shipments of corn and soybeans, regarding slower ethanol production, slower soybean crush. So you've got some potential issues here. And you know, the deal with this report always, guys, is what's priced in and what's not. A lot of what I just told you has already been priced into the market and is responsible for a lot of the recent weakness that we've seen. Do we get something more bearish than what's already priced in? That's kind of the big question here. China says it will feed less corn this year. The Chinese government pegged feed consumption for corn during this new crop marketing year, which just started, at 187 million metric tons. That was down from 190 previously. USDA is up at 211, and USDA has actually got a much higher Chinese feed number for old crop as well. Expansion of hog production in China is likely to slow. Pig prices remain low, so that's the issue here, is that feed demand may just slow down because of that. I did a subscriber-only video yesterday where I talked about Chinese corn purchases out of the U.S., and the fact of the matter is that China has a record book of corn purchases from the U.S. for this new crop marketing year, which just began. It's just south of 11 million metric tons, which is way above where they were at this point last year. The interesting thing is that they have not made an additional purchase since May. They made all of these purchases really, really early back in April and May, and they haven't made one single purchase since then. So there are more and more traders and analysts out there who believe that China just is not going to hit these import targets this year. USDA says, as of last month's report, that China will import essentially the same amount of corn in 21-22 as they did last year. USDA says they're going to repeat that big import program. A lot of traders and analysts are kind of going the other way on that here as we move forward. U.S. ethanol production improved last week, 923,000 barrels per day. That was up 2% on the week, still down 2% versus the same week last year. So we're below the last year, 2020 COVID year, and about 10% below the same week in 2019. I believe personally that ethanol producers are just waiting on cheaper cash corn. Basis levels across the country are in the process of collapsing as harvest accelerates. So this cheaper cash corn will be available soon. We're using ethanol at a pretty good clip here. Stocks have been down for 6 weeks in a row. Stocks were down. Ethanol stocks were down another 3.5% last week. Gasoline demand is good. It was up marginally on the week, down only 2% versus the same week in 2019. So I think it's just a matter of time until we start grinding more corn for ethanol. It's going to happen here over the course of the next month or so. Brazil lowered its corn production estimate again. CONAB, which is Brazil's USDA, essentially released its monthly crop report yesterday. They've got total corn production at 85.75 million metric tons, down from 86.65 last month. USDA will probably make a similar move today. They will probably come in and lower that Brazilian number again. There are some groups down in the low 80s. I don't know exactly where USDA will come in, but they should make a downward revision here. Now, for next year, Brazil, of course, is expecting yields to return to normal after this crop failure this year. Larger acreage, 116 million metric tons is the projection for next year, and that was out a week or two ago. Brazil's trucker strike may end on Sunday. Truckers are back on strike because they're not happy about high diesel prices and a number of other issues. Grain traders say that these strikes have not yet disrupted exports, although soybean growers say that the disruption in the supply chain could impact input costs and perhaps delay the growing season slightly. So we'll see what happens there, but this thing is supposed to stop at least temporarily on Sunday. We've got an export sales report this morning at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. Corn sales expected 600 to 1.2. Soybean sales expected about 600 to 1.6, and wheat sales 200 to 450. So that report will be out at 7:30. The cattle market, kind of a mixed bag yesterday. We did have some of the fat cattle contracts finish higher. Feeder cattle were mostly lower, but not by much. There was some cash cattle reported, 124 in the south, 126 to 127 in the north. The box beef market was down 228 in the choice boxes and down $1.72 in the select boxes yesterday. Ahead of the cash open, the U.S. dollar is down slightly. The S&P's up 18, the Dow's up 170. Bonds are down. Precious metals are just slightly lower. Crude oil is up $1.30, 69.44 in the October WTI contract. Remember, guys, report today at 11 a.m. Central. Everybody have a nice weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.